Hi, I'm Debbie Stark. I'm a programmer here at Kirkwood Community College and in our continuing education department. With me today is Kara Hinzie, and we're very excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Kara is going to be delivering some classes in our Lean series. This is new, and we are holding these in our Johnson County site here at the Regional Center. Kara, can you tell us a little bit about you and a little bit about your background?
Absolutely, yeah. So I've been in the Cedar Rapids area my whole life, so very passionate about it, and I've been in different leadership positions over the last 20 years, which is crazy because I'm only like 25, right?
So that's what I thought.
I know, right? Well, I've worked in a couple of different pretty challenging industries. Most recently served as the director of operations at a local trucking company, and I supported a manufacturing organization that was very lean focused. We're always looking at ways that we could continuously improve, and I'd say since the global pandemic, I think that became even more apparent of how needed it was. And so seeing how we were able to implement those and teach them to our just entry-level employees to be able to become problem solvers, problem identifiers, and use some pretty simple practices there. I really loved that side of the coaching and the teaching side, so then I decided to start my own organization last year. Oh man, it's been almost a year now since I officially started it, and so now I'm teaching classes with Kirkwood, adjunct teaching business classes in the fall with you guys as well, so that's exciting, and just helping local organizations.
You are very busy, and you talked about working at a trucking company during the pandemic, and that had to have been a lot of lessons right there on how to problem solve and look towards this. And you said you worked in manufacturing as well, and a lot of times people take lean and they think of it just in manufacturing, but it's really not. Those principles can be applied in both manufacturing and an office setting. Talk to me a little bit about the difference between and how they come together.
I actually got a great experience with working with a mentor who was from the manufacturing industry and a customer at the same time, and both were very adamant that this can be used anywhere, so I was able to see those tools in real action. One of their quotes was, "Improving the work is the work." So
I like that.
Yeah, and I'm someone who's a little fiery, and if there's a problem, I want it solved. And I didn't really know how to articulate that or be able to explain that in dollars and cents at the beginning. But once I started learning these principles, not only could I come to my customer, come to my leadership team, come to my own team, etc., and say, hey, here's a problem, here's how a potential solution, let's poke holes in it and figure out a way to make this work, and be able to talk about how much that's going to cost or save.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's always the dollar amount that is there. You talked about problem solving, and I will tell you that critical skill is just so, like, people just are just looking for that in their employees and their leaders. And a lot of times employees will come to their leaders wanting them to solve the problem for them. And if you look at this class could be for both employees and leaders, right? Because we're looking at ways that we can help our employees be better problem solvers, and giving leaders the skills to help them be better problem solvers. It's all in one. Talk about, you've got a lot of classes coming up. Do you have those skills in any of the classes that you're dealing with or that you're teaching?
Absolutely. So I believe the first one is geared specifically toward leaders. So how do you prevent your door from becoming a revolving door of problems to solve, and how do you create those processes in place and creating that culture of change and being okay with that and improving those processes. So that's probably a little bit more geared toward the leadership side, but the rest are for anyone who is interested in learning how to improve processes. So if you've ever found yourself in a position where you're like, man, there's got to be a better way than this, these are the classes that can help you be able to articulate that and implement it. So they're very hands-on, which is always fun. That's how I learn. I sit and take notes and then think maybe someday I'll use this. I want them to be able to use these tools and be able to implement them the next day. They can start making change in a positive way to improve processes within the organization.
Share a little bit more about that, because you do a lot of hands-on, and you do use a lot of the tools, different types of tools in every one of these classes. don't spoil it.
Yes.
But no spoilers here.
No spoilers.
No spoilers here. But can you tell me a little bit about the classes and some of the tools that you'll be using?
Yeah, I think that sometimes it can feel so, we can get lost in the sauce, as I call it, with the terminology with lean. So this is an opportunity to be able to use almost like metaphors through some activities that are very hands-on to help you understand who's in charge of what step within processes, where do they potentially break down, how do you identify those, and then how do you backtrack it and find out where the root cause is. Because if you're trying to solve problems that you don't truly understand where it's coming from, you can waste a lot of time, a lot of money, and that's also where you lose a lot of your great employees because they just get frustrated with these Band-Aid fixes. So we wanna, maybe sometimes we have to do the Band-Aid temporarily to keep business going, but then also, how do you find the time and the energy to go back, identify that root cause, and really implement a change in a positive way?
I'm so glad that you said change, because that was the next place I was going when we talk about change. And we have a class on change as well, but when change happens to someone, they're very resistant. But if somebody feels like they're part of the solution, 100%. The change can, the time for it from implementation to when they actually execute is just shortened so much. It sounds like the tools and this thought process really helps employees feel like they're part of it, because they can recommend those solutions as well.
Yep, they're the ones that are seeing the work every single day.
Right.
So they know it better than anyone. So if you get their input and their recommendations, they may not know everything from a big picture standpoint, but when you get them all, excited about something and they know that change is coming and it's going to be positive and they understand the why behind it, I think that fear of the unknown goes away. Right. And I mean, you're going to have your early adapters, all that is still in play there. But when you understand how to approach your team, you understand what those frustrations are. Because if you create a culture where they can speak up on a regular basis and they know that it's not necessarily going to become their problem, because sometimes that's what ends up happening. I know I've been in that position too many times where I love to voice my opinion, but then I get to solve it as well, so then people stop sharing. So you need to be able to find that balance and who not only has the capacity and the passion for it, but who is the right person to help bring that along too. Because you've got individuals who, I'm just a brainstormer. I love to think about those ideas and get things started.
Right.
Then you've got opposite personalities who are really interested in, keeping things going, or I call them my no people. They love to say, no, we can't do that. Well, tell me why, because they're the ones that are going to poke holes in that change and make sure that it's successful.
And that is, sometimes people look at the no's as like the resistance, but you need them because they're taking the blinders off to help you so that there aren't any surprises down the road. You have a few classes that you're delivering for both employees and leaders. Do they have to take them all together? Can they take them individually, kind of an a la carte kind of thing?
I would say, of course we want everyone to take all the classes.
Of course.
But the leadership class obviously is very geared towards someone who is going to have direct reports or is leading process. So I would say that one definitely for someone who's in one of those positions. The others are going to be based off of where your knowledge is based off of. So if you've never experienced lean before, starting with that first class for beginners and learning how to become a problem solver, not just someone who identifies problems, that's probably step one. Anyone can jump in there. But I would say if you already have some basic knowledge and you want to build off of that, then you can definitely kind of pick a la carte from there. The next one's more about how to implement that change. That's not just solving the problem, but actually bringing people along with you and how to get that buy-in and that engagement from the rest of them, even if you're not in a leadership position. So leaders or non-leaders can definitely be a part of those. And then the last one is how to elevate that. So then how to create a change culture. So if you have influence, whether that is through leadership or not, depending on if you're a department head, you could be an HR, whatever that may look like. If you want to learn how to bring that into the workplace and create that culture of improvement, then that would be definitely a class I would recommend for them.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being with us today. If you want to know more about Kara's classes, please get on the link below. There are so many to choose from. And as she alluded to earlier in her intro, she teaches a lot of classes for us. So there is something out there for everyone, and we hope to see you at one of Kara's classes.